Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Today, we're going to be talking about Tim Cook.
Oh, yeah, Apple the big guy.
Exactly.
Yep.
We're going inside his interview with Dua Lipa on her podcast, Dua Lipa, at your service.
Oh, very cool.
So get ready for a really insightful look at Apple
Yeah.
and what makes Tim Cook tick, and also kind of where he thinks technology is headed in the future.
I'm excited to dive in. I think there's going to be a lot to unpack there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really struck me
Yeah.
right off the bat was his morning routine.
Oh, tell me about it. I need some help with mine.
Yeah, right? This guy wakes up between 4 and 5 a.m. every day.
Oh,
I mean,
that's crazy.
I like a productive morning, but that's next level.
I can't even imagine. Like, what is he doing up at 4 a.m.?
Well, that's the thing. It's not just about the early wake-up call.
Right.
It's what he does with that time.
Okay.
The first hour
Yeah.
he spends going through emails.
Okay.
And not from executives or VIPs, from everyday Apple customers
Oh, wow.
and employees. He wants to connect with the people that his company serves, understand their experiences.
That's awesome.
And that really sets the tone for his day.
It's a good point. I mean, to stay grounded like that when you're at the top, it's really admirable.
Yeah. I mean, especially for a company as huge as Apple.
Right. It's not just about the numbers, it's about the people.
Exactly. But let's rewind a little bit and talk about his journey to the top.
Okay.
I mean, coming from, kind of the blue-collar background in Alabama, it's a real Jagger journey, full of twists and turns.
100%, and a far cry from the world of Apple today, right?
Oh, yeah. Totally different world.
Think about it. Like, his mom worked in a pharmacy, his dad in a shipyard.
Right. Very humble beginnings.
And that instilled in him a very strong work ethic and this drive to build something bigger.
Absolutely.
And I think that led him to Apple eventually, but not before like some interesting stints at IBM and a period in academia at Duke.
Yeah, he wasn't just laser focused on climbing that corporate ladder. He really wanted to learn and make a difference.
And we see that today in his leadership.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of leadership.
Yeah.
His approach is a really fascinating contrast to Steve Jobs, who was, obviously very iconic.
Right.
And kind of intimidating.
A little bit.
But Cook really emphasizes collaboration. He truly believes in bringing diverse voices to the table.
And that makes sense. You get better results that way.
Absolutely. And he's not afraid to let his team shine.
Yeah.
And that creates an environment where everybody feels valued.
Everyone feels empowered as well.
Exactly. And this emphasis on equality isn't just corporate jargon for him.
Right.
He's really passionate about creating opportunities for everybody, but especially for LGBTQ plus individuals, women, and people of color.
And I think this comes from his experience growing up in the U.S. during the civil rights era.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense.
Like, he saw firsthand that struggle for equality and how impactful events like Dr. King and Bobby Kennedy's assassinations were.
Yeah, that definitely shaped his worldview.
It fuels his commitment to social justice, both within Apple and beyond.
It's a good reminder that leaders are shaped by their experiences, but also by, the historical context that they live in.
Totally.
And speaking of historical context,
Yeah.
Cook took the helm of Apple at a pretty pivotal moment.
Okay.
He joined in 1998 when the company was really on the verge of collapse.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Oh, yeah. A far cry from the $3 trillion company it is today.
It's crazy how things change.
And what's remarkable to me is he doesn't take sole credit for the turnaround.
Oh, that's great to hear.
He acknowledges Steve Jobs' vision and the foundation that he built.
Right. So how do you even lead after a visionary like Steve Jobs?
Well, that's the thing. I think Cook kind of provides a blueprint for that.
Okay.
Evolve. Adapt,
Yeah.
but don't lose sight of those core principles that made the company great.
That's a good philosophy.
And nowhere is that evolution more evident than with the iPhone, a device that has completely redefined how we live, work, connect.
Yeah, it really has.
But even with its undeniable impact, Cook acknowledges the potential downsides of it.
Right, like excessive screen time.
Exactly.
It's a real problem.
And he doesn't shy away from that conversation.
Yeah.
He even admits to being caught off guard by how many notifications he was getting every day.
Oh, wow.
And this led him to champion Apple's screen time feature.
Which is a great tool.
Yeah, which is designed to give users more control over their digital habits.
Totally encourage a healthier relationship with their devices.
Exactly. It's refreshing to see that self-awareness.
Yeah.
Especially from somebody who leads the company that makes these undeniably addictive devices.
Right.
And he even shares a simple but profound piece of advice.
Okay, what is it?
He says, if you're looking at your phone more than you're looking into someone's eyes, you're doing the wrong thing.
That's a good word.
It's a call for all of us to find that balance, to prioritize real-world connections and experiences over that constant digital engagement.
He's not advocating for abandoning technology, though, right? He's just saying use it mindfully.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Use it intentionally. And this focus on mindful impact extends beyond personal device usage.
Okay.
You know, Apple, under Cook's leadership, has taken some pretty significant steps to address climate change.
Oh, for sure.
And he outlines their goal to achieve carbon neutrality across their entire product cycle by 2030,
That's ambitious.
which is a massive undertaking for a company with a global supply chain.
Yeah. How are they going to do that?
It's a complex challenge
Yeah.
that goes beyond just reducing emissions within Apple's own operations.
Right.
So we're talking about transitioning to 100% renewable energy for their operations, pushing their suppliers to do the same, reducing packaging waste, incorporating recycled materials into their products.
It's a huge task.
It is. And they're not just setting goals.
Right.
They're actually putting in the work.
Okay.
The Apple Watch, for example, has already achieved carbon neutrality 7 years ahead of schedule.
Wow, that's impressive.
And this was accomplished by using recycled materials, optimizing transportation, transitioning to renewable energy sources.
That's a great example of how companies can really drive positive change.
Yeah, and speaking of supply chains,
Yeah.
Dua Lipa brings up a difficult but important issue:
Okay.
conflict minerals,
Uh-oh.
specifically the use of child labor in cobalt mining.
That's a tough one.
This is kind of the dark side of the tech industry that often gets swept under the rug.
It's an important topic, though.
Absolutely, and it's a complex issue
Yeah.
with no easy solutions. But Cook addresses it head on.
Good.
He assures listeners that Apple has a very rigorous tracing system in place
Okay.
to make sure that the cobalt used in their products is ethically sourced
That's good to hear.
and that child labor is not involved.
Of course.
And he emphasizes their commitment to transparency and their efforts to source 100% recycled cobalt.
So they're trying to move away from mining altogether.
Exactly. And while the issue of conflict minerals is larger than any one company,
Right.
I think Apple's approach highlights the importance of responsible sourcing
100%.
and using their leverage to push for ethical practices.
Throughout the whole industry.
Throughout the entire industry.
Yeah, it shows that even within these complex supply chains,
Right.
companies can take steps to address human rights.
Yeah. And promote ethical practices.
And, we as consumers have a role to play, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, our choices matter.
Absolutely.
And we need to demand ethically sourced products.
Our demand can drive change.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now let's dive into a topic that's generating a lot of buzz these days.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence.
AI, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And Dua Lipa even expressed kind of a mix of excitement and apprehension about it.
Makes sense. It's a powerful technology.
Yeah, and she even asked Cook if he thinks that AI could destroy the world.
Oh, wow. That's a big question.
This is a question that's on a lot of people's minds these days.
It is, for sure.
And Cook's response is measured and insightful.
Okay.
He acknowledges the transformative power of AI and its potential to revolutionize industries,
Like healthcare and education.
from healthcare to education. But he also emphasizes the need for responsible development and regulation.
Right, because it can be dangerous.
Exactly. And he doesn't shy away from those potential dangers, especially if it's allowed to develop unchecked.
We need some rules.
Exactly. He stresses the importance of establishing rules of the road
Yeah,
to guide AI development,
that makes sense.
to ensure that it's used for good
And not for evil.
and not for nefarious purposes.
Yeah.
And he even predicts that we'll see some form of AI regulation
Okay.
within the next year or two,
Wow, so it's coming soon.
which indicates that governments are starting to grasp the urgency and complexity of this issue.
That's good to hear.
But it's not just about government regulation.
Right.
Cook emphasizes that Apple is taking a very cautious and deliberate approach to AI development,
Okay.
really prioritizing ethical considerations and focusing on applications that genuinely benefit humanity.
They're being careful.
It's a reminder that we need a multi-pronged approach
Yeah.
to navigate this AI revolution.
Yeah.
We need responsible development practices within the tech industry.
Right.
We need clear guidelines from policymakers.
An open dialogue among everybody.
Exactly.
To make sure AI is used to empower, not endanger.
Exactly. And speaking of transformative technologies,
Yeah.
Cook believes that just as the internet and the smartphone changed the world,
Right.
so too will augmented reality,
AR.
AR.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
And he points to Apple's newly launched Vision Pro headset as a prime example of this technology.
Okay, so how is this going to change the world?
Well, it allows users to blend the digital and physical worlds,
It's interesting.
interacting with information and virtual objects in a whole new way.
So like pulling up information in 3D space?
Exactly, right there in your living room.
Wow.
Or collaborating with someone remotely as if they were right there in the room with you.
That's pretty cool.
This is the potential of AR.
Yeah.
And Cook believes it's just the beginning.
But doesn't that bring up some concerns about like privacy and data security and digital overload?
And digital overload. It's a conversation we need to be having
Right.
as these technologies become more integrated into our lives.
For sure.
But before we get lost in the world of AR,
Okay.
let's bring things back down to earth
All right.
and talk about something practical.
I like practical.
Advice for aspiring tech professionals.
People who want to work at Apple.
Exactly. And Cook has some great insights.
Okay. I'm listening.
And here's the good news.
What?
You don't necessarily need to be a coding whiz to succeed
Oh, that's good to hear.
at Apple or other tech companies.
Okay.
He really emphasizes the importance of collaboration,
Teamwork.
curiosity, and creativity as essential skills,
More so than coding.
arguably even more so than just pure coding prowess.
Wow.
He looks for people who can work effectively in teams,
Right.
who are eager to learn,
Ask questions.
who can think outside the box
That makes sense.
to come up with those innovative solutions.
So you're saying soft skills are just as important as technical skills?
Absolutely, and he does encourage everybody to learn how to code,
Okay.
but not just as a job skill,
Yeah.
as a way to develop problem-solving abilities
Yeah.
and understand the language of technology.
So it's about more than just getting a job.
Exactly.
It's about thinking like a coder.
Exactly, and he sees coding as a powerful tool for creative expression
Interesting.
and believes that anybody, regardless of their background,
Yeah.
can learn and benefit from it.
I like that.
But beyond technical skills,
Okay.
Cook emphasizes something that goes beyond the resume,
What's that?
finding your passion.
Ah, that's important.
He believes that genuine passion fuels drive creativity and resilience.
I agree with that.
You know, he never set out to be CEO of Apple.
Right.
He followed his interests, worked hard, and embraced opportunities.
And that led him to where he is today.
Exactly. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most fulfilling paths
Yeah.
aren't linear.
They're not straight lines.
Exactly. It's about being open to new experiences, taking risks,
Discovering what you're passionate about.
and discovering what truly ignites your passion.
And then things fall into place.
And speaking of things falling into place,
Okay.
let's talk about Cook's commitment to philanthropy and giving back.
He's a big philanthropist, right?
Huge. He's pledged to give away most of his fortune, focusing on issues like quality and education.
That's amazing.
This isn't just about writing checks, though.
Right.
It's deeply rooted in his values
Okay.
and his belief that education is the key to opportunity
In a more just world.
and a more just world.
It's like a cycle.
Exactly. He sees a direct connection between his own journey
Right.
and the transformative power of education.
Makes sense.
He wants to create opportunities for others,
Especially those from disadvantaged backgrounds.
especially those from disadvantaged backgrounds, to reach their full potential.
Education is an equalizer.
Absolutely. And I think it's a good reminder that success isn't just about what you achieve.
Yeah.
It's about what you give back
Right. Paying it forward.
and the positive impact you have on others.
Making the world a better place.
Exactly. And I think that's a perfect segue to part 2,
Okay.
where we'll explore Cook's insights on some lighter topics,
Mhm.
like his love of nature,
Oh, fun.
his reading habits,
Cool.
as well as some deeper reflections on the future of technology and
Yeah.
the role we all play in shaping it.
Can't wait. Sounds like a great discussion.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. So stay tuned.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
It's amazing to think about how Tim Cook went from,
Yeah.
those humble beginnings to leading a company that's pretty much synonymous with innovation.
Right.
And it's not just about the products either. Like, he's really at the forefront of some important conversations, like sustainability and ethical sourcing.
Absolutely. And it's easy to get caught up in the whole tech CEO image,
Right.
but we're getting to see the person behind the title a little bit.
Definitely.
Remember how we talked about his commitment to fitness?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even with his crazy schedule,
Yeah.
he carves out an hour every morning
Really?
for strength training.
Wow, that's dedication.
It really underscores the importance of prioritizing our well-being.
It's true.
which is something we all struggle with,
Oh, yeah, especially in today's world.
especially in today's always-on world.
Right. If the CEO of Apple can make time for it,
Yeah,
I think we all can.
we all can and should.
We should.
And speaking of things we can all relate to,
Okay.
let's talk about our phones.
Oh, boy.
Dua Lipa even joked about having that little dent in her finger
Uh-huh.
from using her phone so much.
I think we've all been there.
I think we all have.
It highlights how much we depend on these devices.
Right, for everything.
Yeah, it's easy to forget to look up
Yeah.
and engage with the real world.
And Cook, being, the head of the company that created the iPhone,
Right.
has some pretty interesting thoughts about this.
I bet.
He's not oblivious to the potential for overuse and the kind of addictive nature of these devices.
He seems very self-aware.
Yeah, he even shared an anecdote about being surprised by how many notifications he was getting. And he had to actively take steps to reduce them.
Good for him.
That self-awareness is so important.
It is.
He's not just selling a product.
Right.
He's acknowledging the very real challenges that come with it.
Yeah, like you have to use these things responsibly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And his advice to look into someone's eyes more than you look at your phone,
Yeah,
that's a message I think that we all need to hear.
that's a good one.
It's a reminder to be present,
To value those real-world connections.
to value those real-world connections
Yeah.
over that constant, digital stimulation.
Be in the moment.
Be in the moment.
Put the phone down.
Exactly.
It's hard, though.
It is hard, but it's about finding that balance.
Right.
And using technology intentionally,
Not letting it use us.
not letting it control us.
Yeah.
Now, shifting gears a little bit,
Okay.
Cook also dives deep into climate change,
It's a big topic,
which is increasingly top of mind for businesses,
especially in tech.
especially in tech. And he lays out Apple's goal
Uh-huh.
to achieve carbon neutrality across their entire product lifecycle by 2030.
That's a huge goal.
It's massive.
How are they going to do that?
For a company of Apple's size, it's a huge undertaking.
Right. It's not just their own operations.
Right.
It's the whole supply chain.
It's working with their entire supply chain.
Yeah, to transition to more sustainable practices.
And they're walking the walk. They're not just talking about it.
What are they doing?
So using renewable energy sources, reducing packaging waste,
Okay.
incorporating recycled materials into their products,
Good.
incentivizing customers to recycle their old devices,
Right.
pushing their suppliers to adopt more environmentally responsible practices.
They're really putting in the effort.
They are, and they even highlighted the success of the Apple Watch,
Okay.
which achieved carbon neutrality 7 years ahead of schedule.
That's impressive.
It's a concrete example that large-scale sustainability efforts
Yeah.
are possible even within these complex global supply chains.
That's a really powerful message of
Yeah.
what can be accomplished when you're committed.
It's that.
Making a change.
Now, sustainability isn't just about environmental impact, though.
Right.
It's also about ethical sourcing.
Of course.
And Dua Lipa brings up this issue of conflict minerals,
Oh.
particularly child labor in cobalt mining.
Which is a major source of cobalt for batteries.
Exactly.
For all our electronics.
It's an uncomfortable truth that we often overlook.
Yeah, we don't like to think about it.
And the demand for cobalt has really fueled these unethical mining practices.
Yeah, in some regions with terrible consequences.
And Cook addresses this directly,
Good.
assuring listeners that Apple has a rigorous tracing system in place
To make sure it's ethical.
to ensure that the cobalt used in their products is ethically sourced.
Okay, good.
And they're working towards using 100% recycled cobalt,
So they're trying to eliminate that need for mining altogether.
which would significantly reduce their reliance on mined materials.
It's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. But the problem of conflict minerals is much bigger.
It's an industry-wide problem.
It requires industry-wide action and stricter regulations.
To really make a difference.
And we as consumers have a role to play too,
We do.
by supporting companies
That are
that
transparent.
have transparent and ethical sourcing practices.
Right, our choices can drive change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about something
Okay.
that has been dominating the headlines.
What's that?
Artificial intelligence, or AI.
Oh yeah, AI, it's everywhere.
And Dua Lipa brings up this kind of mixed bag of emotions that AI evokes.
Right, like the excitement and the apprehension.
The excitement, the even the fear.
They fear, yeah.
And she asks Cook directly,
Uh-huh.
do you think AI could destroy the world?
Oh, wow, that's a big question.
It's a question that's on a lot of people's minds.
It is.
And Cook's response is thoughtful.
Okay.
He acknowledges the incredible power of AI
Right.
and its potential to really revolutionize so many aspects of our lives.
But he also stresses the need for regulation.
He believes that AI needs rules of the road,
I like,
clear guidelines to guide its development and prevent potential harm.
we need to be careful.
And he even predicts that some form of AI regulation
Okay.
will be in place within the next year or two,
So it's coming.
which signals that policymakers are starting to recognize
Yeah.
the urgent need to address these ethical and societal implications
Of this powerful technology.
of this powerful technology.
Yeah.
But Cook also emphasizes that responsible AI development isn't just about government regulation.
Right.
It's about companies like Apple taking a deliberate and ethical approach to its development.
They're being proactive.
They're being proactive.
Mhm.
He talks about Apple's focus on building AI applications
Okay.
that genuinely benefit humanity,
That's good.
prioritizing those ethical considerations and data privacy
Throughout the whole process.
throughout the entire development process.
So it's a cautious optimism.
It is.
Embrace the potential, but be mindful of the risks.
Exactly, and actively work to mitigate them.
Right. This is going to require collaboration from everybody.
Governments, tech companies, the public.
Yeah, we all need to be involved in this conversation.
Absolutely. And speaking of groundbreaking tech,
Okay, what else?
Cook believes that augmented reality
Yeah.
has the potential to be as transformative as AI.
Wow.
And he points to their new Vision Pro headset as a prime example,
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this.
offering us a glimpse into a future
Yeah.
where these digital and physical worlds
They blend together.
seamlessly blend.
It's like living in a video game.
It kind of is. Imagine a world where you can access information,
Right.
interact with virtual objects as if they were right there in front of you,
Like holograms.
like holograms.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
It has the potential to revolutionize how we work,
How we learn.
how we learn, how we interact with the world around us.
But what about the downsides?
Well, this brings up some questions about privacy,
Right.
data security, and the potential for digital overload.
We're always connected.
That's a conversation we need to be having now.
As these technologies become more integrated into our lives,
Absolutely.
we need to be prepared.
Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
let's talk about something practical.
I like practical.
Advice for those looking to break into the tech world.
People who want to work at Apple.
Exactly. And Cook offers some great insights.
All right, I'm all ears.
And it's not all about coding skills.
Oh, good, because I'm not a coder.
He emphasizes collaboration,
Teamwork.
curiosity, and creativity.
Okay, those are important.
He looks for people who are passionate about technology,
Right.
who are eager to learn, and who can think outside the box.
Makes sense. You need people who are driven.
You need people who are driven and adaptable.
And creative.
He does encourage learning to code,
Okay.
but not just as a job skill, as a way to develop problem-solving skills
It's a valuable skill.
and understand the language of technology.
So it's about more than just getting a job.
It's about empowering yourself to create and innovate.
To think like a coder. That's powerful.
And it's a message that really resonates beyond the tech industry.
It does.
It's about lifelong learning,
Adaptability.
adaptability, embracing new challenges.
Being open to new things.
But beyond specific skills,
Okay.
Cook highlights something even more fundamental:
What's that?
finding your passion.
Your passion.
Your passion. He believes that passion is what fuels drive,
Yeah.
creativity, and resilience.
Makes you get up in the morning.
It does, and his own journey is a testament to that.
Right. He didn't start out wanting to be the CEO.
He didn't set out to be the CEO of Apple.
He just followed his interest.
He followed his interests, worked hard,
Embraced opportunities.
and embraced opportunities as they arose.
And it led him to where he is today.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that fulfilling careers
Yeah.
often aren't linear.
They're not straight lines.
They're not a straight line.
You never know where you'll end up.
You really don't. It's about being open to new experiences, discovering what truly excites you,
And pursuing it with passion.
and pursuing it with passion and dedication.
I like that.
And speaking of dedication,
Okay.
let's talk about Cook's commitment to giving back.
He's a big philanthropist.
Huge. He's pledged to give away most of his wealth,
Wow.
focusing on issues like education and equality.
That's amazing.
And this isn't just about philanthropy for him.
Right.
It's about a deep-seated belief in the power of education
To create opportunities.
to create opportunities and a more just world.
To level the playing field.
He sees a direct link between his own journey
Right.
and the importance of providing access to education for all,
Especially those from underprivileged backgrounds.
especially for those from underprivileged backgrounds.
Education can change lives.
It really can. It's a powerful message about using your success to lift others up,
To give back.
to give back and create positive change.
To make the world a better place.
It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected
We are.
and that our actions have ripple effects.
What we do matters.
What we do matters.
Yeah.
But Cook isn't all business and serious topics.
Okay.
He also shares some personal insights
Oh, I like.
that give us a glimpse into his life beyond Apple.
Okay. Tell me more.
He talks about his love of nature,
Okay.
his passion for hiking.
He seems like an outdoorsy guy.
He describes it as a way to clear his head, reconnect with himself, and find inspiration.
I can relate to that.
He even shares some of his favorite national parks,
Oh, cool.
emphasizing their beauty and that sense of awe that they inspire.
Nature is pretty amazing.
It is, and it's a reminder that even the most driven individuals
Yeah.
need time to disconnect,
To recharge.
recharge, and find joy outside of work.
To find balance.
To find balance, exactly. And for Cook, that balance also includes reading.
Oh, he's a reader.
He shares a diverse list of books
What kind of books?
that have influenced his thinking, from classic literature to biographies of inspiring figures.
He's a lifelong learner.
He is always seeking out new knowledge and perspectives.
That's great.
And he sees reading as a way to broaden his horizons, challenge his assumptions.
And gain a deeper understanding of the world.
Exactly. It's a reminder that learning is a lifelong journey,
It is.
and there's always something new to discover.
I love that.
But perhaps the most insightful aspect of this interview is Cook's humility.
Okay.
Despite his immense success, he talks about feeling incredibly humbled
Wow.
and expresses a sincere desire to use his platform
to give back.
to give back and make a positive impact.
That's inspiring.
It's a refreshing perspective, a reminder that true leadership
Yeah.
isn't about power or status,
Right.
but about service and making a difference.
It's about leaving the world a better place than you found it.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our actions have consequences.
Right.
And that we all have a responsibility to use our talents and our resources
To contribute to something bigger than ourselves.
to contribute to something bigger than ourselves.
I love that message.
It's a powerful message of hope and inspiration.
It is.
A reminder that even in a world facing these complex challenges,
Yeah.
we can all make a difference.
We can all make a difference.
And on that note,
Okay.
let's move on to part 3,
All right.
where we'll delve into Cook's vision for the future of technology
Excited.
and explore some of the key takeaways
Yeah.
from this insightful conversation.
I'm ready. Welcome back to our deep dive into the mind of Tim Cook.
It's been a fascinating conversation so far.
It really has. We've covered so much ground.
We have his leadership style, Apple's stance on sustainability, AI, ethical sourcing, so many things.
It's clear that this is a leader who's really thinking deeply
Yeah,
about the role of technology in society.
absolutely. And what stood out to me
Yeah.
was his emphasis on the human element of technology.
Okay.
He's not just focused on building products, he's thinking about
Yeah.
how those products shape our life.
Our relationships.
Our relationships, the world around us.
He's taking a holistic view.
Exactly. And I think that's crucial, especially in a time when technology is advancing so rapidly.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype.
Yeah, it's easy to lose sight of the big picture.
Cook's insights remind us to step back and think about the human impact
Exactly. And be more intentional about how we use technology
as individuals and as a society.
as individuals and as a society.
Right.
It's about finding that balance
Yeah.
between, harnessing the power of technology
Right.
and preserving what makes us human.
Our connections, our creativity, our values.
Exactly. And that leads us to a question that really lingered throughout the interview.
It's that.
What does the future hold?
The big question.
The big question. And Cook shares some really interesting predictions,
Okay.
particularly about AI and augmented reality.
He sees those as really transformative.
He envisions a world where these technologies enhance our capabilities,
Solve problems.
solve complex problems, create new possibilities.
But he also recognizes the risks.
He stresses the need for ethical development, thoughtful regulation, and ongoing dialogue
To make sure they're used for good.
to ensure that these technologies are used for good.
Right.
He's calling on all of us,
Tech leaders, policymakers,
everyday citizens, to be a part of this conversation
and to shape the future of technology.
in a way that benefits humanity.
Yeah, we all have a responsibility.
We do. He paints a picture of a future where technology empowers individuals,
Connects communities.
creates a more sustainable and equitable world.
That's a future worth striving for.
It is, but it's not going to happen by accident.
Yeah, it requires effort.
Conscious effort, collaboration,
Yeah.
a shared commitment to using technology
For good.
for the betterment of society. And I think the most inspiring aspect of his message
Yeah.
is his belief in our collective power to shape the future.
He doesn't see technology as controlling us.
He doesn't. He sees it as a tool.
A tool that we can use to create the world we want.
It's an empowering message.
It is.
We're not just passive consumers of technology.
We have choices.
We have agency, we have choices, and we have a responsibility to use those choices wisely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what resonates most with you?
What insights, what challenges, what opportunities?
Freddie Cook's perspective.
It's a question worth pondering as we navigate this, rapidly evolving technological landscape.
It's changing so fast.
It is, and it's a
Yeah.
reminder that the future isn't predetermined.
We have the power to shape it.
We have the power to shape it.
Mhm.
It's a canvas waiting for us to paint it with our choices, our actions, and our collective vision for a better tomorrow.
I love that analogy.
So that's it for our deep dive into the mind of Tim Cook.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing for a future where technology empowers, connects, and inspires us all.